She has been a part of TUSD all of her life. She is a product of TUSD. She attended elementary and secondary schools in TUSD, graduating from Tucson High. As a matter of fact, she met her husband, Rich, at Doolin Junior High School, and they've been together ever since. After graduating from Tucson High, she worked for TUSD while attending the University of Arizona. And upon graduating from the University of Arizona, she began teaching in TUSD schools. She had a long career in TUSD, serving as a teacher, then as a principal, and then as a central office administrator.
I love her to death. She's just a wonderful person. Could not have a better friend. And she's just so community oriented. I just am so admirable. I'm so admiring of what she does.
Dr. McCorkle has served our community over 40, 50 years. I mean, when I think about it, that's almost twice my age. And, you know, she has served minority, majority districts. One of her strong passions is for early childhood, making sure that we have kindergarten, all-day kindergarten in every single classroom.
My name is Helen-Henry, and I worked for TUSD for 30 years. And I've known Mary Belle for almost 50 years, from the time she was a teacher, first grade teacher. And I've always admired her because she was always for children. Whatever she did was for the good of the children.
Almost her entire life has been dedicated to the betterment of our children in our educational process.
Mary Belle McCorkle was absolutely an icon in education in the state of Arizona. I can't tell you the number of people that educators and non-educators whose lives she touched. In Tucson Unified School District, in different roles she served, she was just bigger than life. I appreciated personally so much the fact that she would nurture, but she'd also love, but she also held everyone with very high expectations.
And she also changed the lives, I think, not only of people who worked with her, a way of working, and the parents who were part of that, but she influenced other school people to make some changes in their schools, particularly in terms of evaluating students and in discipline, in the whole discipline thing, and in the acceptance of all children, because we still weren't into the real integrated situation there. And I would gather that before they formally had, you know, moved kids around on buses to get them from one place to another, that she probably was one of the people with the first experience of working with all children in an open manner and in acceptance.
Mary Belle truly reached out, talked to people, walked with people, and her focus was truly on children. There wasn't a day that went by that I didn't get a chance to observe and also be held accountable for making sure that the services for children were delivered in a loving, open, honest manner.
I've seen her develop leadership. She has teachers, many teachers, who've gone on to become principals, or teachers who came there specifically to do their internship with her before they became principals. And she has that ability to develop leadership in others. And then they go on out and they operate a lot like she did. They buy into her philosophy. And I think that's the highest form of leadership. When someone sees you and then learns from you, grows on their own, but goes on out to empower others.
And I'm excited that my daughter is the first preschool class at Mary Belle McCorkle. She's there right now. And all of my children would be going to McCorkle.
She's a pillar within the educational community, and I look up to her for that, and I thank her very much.
And she's such a child-centered person. She believes in every child. She loves every child, and they know it.
But Mary Belle's contribution was Mary Belle. I mean, it was the way in which she approached with dedication the things that she did throughout her whole career, whether it was serving as a school person, a staff member, an administrator, or a board member, or for that matter, since she's left those official positions. A person like Mary Belle continues to do the work, whether it's in an organized way or just because she's dedicated to children and families. So her greatest contribution is just her undying dedication to the things that have always meant something to her, and that's children and families.
Mary Belle started working with the district, I think, before legally people can really work anymore. I mean, before the age of 18. And so her whole life, TUSD has been a part of it. Either she was working directly in a school, she was here in administration, working to support all of the schools, or she was on the governing board. And, you know, and she has children and grandchildren that are a part of this district also. And so her contribution to the district has been her life. And her contribution to education is a reflection of all of the things that she holds dear. She holds dear the education of children, the education of professional development education for teachers and administrators, and supports the community. And so I think it's very appropriate that Mary Belle McCorkle was named after Mary Belle.
I want Tucson Unified School District to be the best district in the entire state. And I believe it can be. I believe that we can get these kids in these schools and keep them in these schools. And hopefully we'll have to create more schools because we'll have so many students coming back. This school is going to represent our flagship of how we're changing the district and how we're changing the process of educating our kids.
I think one of the highest honors in education is getting a school named after you. And it is actually Ms. Burns who approached me and considering the idea of naming the school after Mary Belle. I didn't have to think more than once about that. I thought it was a right fit given her service to Tucson Unified and Sunnyside and our Tucson community. And I just thought that there's no one else at this current time that deserves that honor more than Mary Belle.
And so I hope that every time Mary Belle and generations after her drive by there, they remember the person that she is and all that she's given to this district.
This is recognition of a person that made an indelible mark on this district in a way that very few people do. I think it was a tremendous tribute not just to Mary Belle, who deserves every bit of this, but also I think to the philosophy the district embraced, that we recognize the people that make a difference, and that we, what greater recognition than to name a school that kind of abounds by the same principles that person has operated with all of her life. So I think it was just a tremendous act of not even generosity, but an act of wisdom on the part of this governing board to do what they did.
The birth of a new school, like the birth of a newborn child, fills us with great anticipation as it renews a community's commitment to its future by offering its young a place of learning and development of their human potential. The naming of the new school also speaks to what the community cherishes and what it expects of those to be educated there and those who will teach there. I congratulate the TUSD School Board for choosing to name this new school after Mary Belle McCorkle.
This really could be a flagship for the future of what Tucson Unified School District schools should become. And the reason I say that is not that our schools are not really remarkable in their own right, but this is a school that looks at the education of children differently. It suggests, by the way it's organized, that students should be organized in environments where it's not by chronological age, it's not by some other kind of artificial or synthetic organizational principle. It's based on what students do and what they know and what they learn. So you'll have multi-aged opportunities for children, project-based relevant learning that takes place, an orientation toward dual language, which is extremely important, I think, across the country, but certainly in a district like ours, and a vision and an orientation toward getting kids to be successful in post-secondary endeavors. And so while we talk about this being university-driven, many of those students may find great opportunities that don't include serving, working in a university afterwards, going to a university afterwards. But they will all have the ability, the opportunity to do whatever they want, guided toward the highest of expectations. That's exactly what school should be, and that's the concept around which McCorkle is built. It also was built for that purpose. So if you look at the structure of the school, it reflects the philosophy of instruction, learning, and the vision of what the school is all about. So I think it's just this remarkable jewel that I will capitalize and hopefully will become what I believe will be a learning experience for other schools throughout the district.
I owe a great deal of my personal and professional development to Mary Belle, and I couldn't be happier that this school has been named for her.
Her main focus was children, and nobody deserves to have a school named after more than Mary Belle does.
Oh, it's very exciting to be opening a new school in TUSD after a long time. We need to raise student achievement to a new level. We have to do that in all our schools, but sometimes it's easier to start from scratch, and I think this school can become a model for what we want the whole district to be.
You know, you deserve this, Mary Belle. Enjoy it. Enjoy this time. Enjoy the fact that there is going to be a piece of TUSD history that's going to have your name on it forever.
Mary Belle McCorkle embodies all of these characteristics. Present and future generations of Tucsonans who attend and teach at Mary Belle McCorkle K-8 school will be guided by this legacy. Congratulations, Dr. Mary Belle McCorkle, on this community honor. Congratulations, TUSD, on launching a new school enterprise and continuing well into your third century of serving Tucson's future. And good luck and good learning to the present and future generations of students and teachers at Mary Belle McCorkle Academy for Excellence K-8.
My name is Darian, and I go to Mary Belle McCorkle.
My name is Faith, and I go to Mary Belle McCorkle.
When I came into the school, it felt like a dream because everything was new, and I was really excited to be in a new school, which it was just amazing. It felt like a dream.
It was really good. I was scared at first, but it's really, really fun now.
I think she just cares about public education passionately. She can speak to it better than I do, but I think she cares about public education passionately, and she cares about the kids. And yeah, I don't know how to say it different than that. I think she, in their motivations, I think she and Judy were very similar. Their styles were a little different, their viewpoints of things were a little different, but I think that what drove Mary Belle and what drove Judy were very similar, actually. And it's a shame that Judy's not here to speak to that, because she's probably the closest thing we had to being a fellow traveler with Mary Belle.
I want to say that it was an honor to serve with you on the TUSD school board. I don't want to exaggerate anything, but you were a master at the art of the deal. Sometimes I felt like I was in Las Vegas playing against the house. But you know what? You taught me how to be a board member, and I was a better board member for serving with you. And I couldn't be happier that this new school is being named after Mary Belle Breeding. Who would have thought that that graduate of Tucson High School would have pioneered in such a way that she served this district throughout her life, even after her retirement, in such a way that the community said, we are going to honor her by naming this school after you. Congratulations.